Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. So the mayor of the city of Cleveland, Mayor Justin Bibbs, said in an interview Tuesday that we really need to address the problem of crime in the city of Cleveland, and that the prosecutors need to be, and I'm paraphrasing his words, need to be harsher on prosecuting these criminals. Yeah, no kidding, sir. Incidentally, Mayor Justin Bibbs is a Democrat. What I want to talk about in this video is he really sincere about this, or just something else going on here? Is he just saying this because the Democrats are in a hot seat right now? Or is he really kind of like a moderate Democrat or whatever, Because I'm going to share some things in this video that I heard from one of my coworkers that makes me believe that he's contradicting himself, that he's causing more chaos rather than trying to fix the chaos. So let's get into this article here. I actually listened to the interview as much as I could stomach, okay? But I'm going to read to you just a part of the transcript here that I have derived from Breitbart News. And it says, on Tuesday's broadcast of NBC's MTP Now, Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibbs said that prosecutors who are being too lax in prosecuting crime are a real issue that, quote, absolutely needs to be better handled to help combat crime, and, quote, repeat offenders who have continuous gun violations on their record shouldn't be on the streets. Notice what he talks about. Gun violations, guns. Same yak stuff that Democrats always poot and holler and snot about: gun violence. But that's to be expected from a Democrat. But anyway, Bill begins by stating, quote, President Biden has the right message. Us as Democrats, and especially as mayors, we believe in funding the police. End quote. He also called for stricter gun laws in addition to more funding for mental health. Now, I'm going to read a little bit more of this. Host Peter Alexander later asked, Mayor, as you well know, there are a lot of Republicans who would push back and say, hey, you got to have prosecutors in these communities who are doing more. They're catching folks and then putting them back on the streets. Amen for that. Right now, and they're not being tough enough on crime in those communities. Is that an issue that you acknowledge needs to be better addressed to help resolve this? Bill responded, absolutely. I truly believe in the importance of criminal justice reform and making sure we give folks a second chance. But when you have repeat offenders who have continuous gun violations on their record, see, it's always the guns, never mind anything else. It's always guns, because the focus of Democrats is get guns off the streets. Guns. Is it really about diminishing crime, or is it really about taking away your fundamental right to have a gun? I don't know. I don't trust these Democrats. So he says, have continuous gun violations on their records that don't belong on the streets. He also argued that investing in education and programs for children will also help decrease crime. I don't believe that. I believe that's what's going to help decrease crime is parenting. When you have a father in the home, you have good parents in the home. Statistics state that when there's a father present or a strong male figure that's present in the lives of those young males that usually are the ones that commit these violent crimes, we are seeing an increase in females committing these violent crimes in the city of Cleveland, but not only the city of Cleveland, but all over the country. But for the most part, it's mostly among young blacks, okay? Particularly young African Americans, but but people in general, young people in general. We usually see that among young men, that when they don't have a strong male figure in the home or a father figure in the home, usually statistically, they tend to get into crime and drugs and gangs and so forth. And that's usually the case because they don't have a strong male figure in their life guiding them towards the right direction, giving them discipline, because men are disciplinarians. We are designed to discipline. And when there's no disciplinaries in the home, for the most part, that child tends to get into things they shouldn't be in. So this whole idea of, the government needs to create more programs that we believe would decrease crime. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. City of Cleveland has always had a high crime rate. Now, but here's something I wanted to look at, regardless of any of that. Well, here's what's interesting about what Mayor Bibbs said about the prosecutors and so forth, and that the prosecutors need to be more strong on these criminals and so forth. They need to create strict, we need to do something about it. In the interview, he was giving the answer. He said, yeah, we needed to, the interviewer was asking him the questions. He was giving the answer. Yeah, we need to do more about this. We need to woo, 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 woo. It's amazing how these politicians talk. And it's amazing the questions that these interviewers ask. I can't help but wonder if all this stuff is formatted. You ask them questions that it's like, okay, the answer they give is like, yeah, we do need to do something about high crime. We need to do something about this, and we need to do something about that. But I would ask, what are you going to do? What plan do you have in place to curb crime? What was his answer? The answer that all Democrats give. We need to get rid of guns. Let me say this. The governor of the state of Ohio is a Republican, but all the cities in the state of Ohio obviously are not Republican, including the city of Cleveland. We know obviously it's a blue city, if you want to call it that. And the Governor DeWine signed a bill that took place in June of this year that basically said that now it is legal or perfectly okay for anyone to get a gun without having to be registered or have a license. Okay, you can go to the store, you can go to any store and buy. Of course, if you got a record, you can't buy it. But if you have a clean record or whatever, and you don't have any criminal past, whatever, you can go and buy a gun. You don't have to get it registered. You don't have to go get it registered or all of that. You don't have to go through all of that. You don't have to get the CCW license. You don't have to get that unless you are going into a particular establishment. Now, if you are going into an establishment that forbids guns, then you can't go in that establishment. You have to take your gun and put it somewhere else, but you can't go in an establishment. But for the most part, you have the right to buy a gun, and you don't have to be licensed to have it. You don't have to have a license or get it registered or any of that. This law was put into place, signed into place in the 13th of June of this year. Now, there was a lot of hoopla and there was a lot of argument about, okay, oh my goodness, it's people gonna go buck wild. People gonna just go buck wild. Woo, 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 woo. It's gonna go crazy. It's gonna be the OK Corral. Well, right now we're pushing September, and this law was signed into place in June. And here's the issue. The guy that was interviewing the Mayor Bibbs, said, good news in your city is that violent crime has gone, or he said crime has gone down 3% in your city. So that's a good thing. But yet at the same time, Mayor Bibbs says we need to pay attention to mental health, but also, I'm talk about this mental health thing, but also we need to get rid of guns. Wait a minute, hold on. Is guns the issue, sir? Is guns the issue? He just stated that the crime has gone down in the city of Cleveland by 3%, which is a good thing. Why is crime have gone down 3%? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with guns. I haven't heard of any incidents in the city of Cleveland where crime and gun violence have gone up in the city of Cleveland. See, the question is, what kind of violence that's taking place? Is it gun violence? Is it physical assault? Is it stabbing people with a knife? Is it what? Biting people? What kind of crime are we talking about? It's different kinds of crime. All crime is not gun violence. All violent crime is not gun violence. You got domestic violence and all these other things. Now, let's deal with the issue of mental health. Mayor Bibbs said in the interview that he wants to, deal with this mental health issue, which is an issue in the city of Cleveland. Look like more and more, because you guys, I talk about this all the time. I work downtown as a security officer, bike patrolman at Tower City. And me and my partner, we are usually outside for most of the time, standing outside out in front of Tower City, dealing with a bevy of different types of individuals. Young people coming in from school. Sometimes they get a little crazy. Homeless people, panhandling, causing problems and so forth. And I've been noticing for the past few months an influx of homeless people that I've never seen before. Homeless people that are mentally ill. I've noticed that. And I'm wondering what's going on here. I've never seen this person before, and they're mentally ill. They're like really messed up mentally. And I'm like, I've never seen this person before. Okay, well, one of my coworkers told me about a week or so ago that the mayor, a police officer that works with us at Tower City, told him that Mayor Bibbs closed down a significant number of the homeless shelters in the city of Cleveland. And I said, why? And he said, well, the police officer told him that he shut these homeless shelters down and took that extra money that was funding the homeless shelters to fund the police. And I said, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Why would you shut down? Isn't it not true that a significant number of mentally ill people come from the homeless shelters? Then why would you shut down the homeless shelters? Okay, and then take the money that finance the homeless shelters to matriculate it to the police department. What sense does that make? And I told my coworker, I said, that sounds like to me he's creating chaos. You're creating the problem so you can come in and say, hey, let's fix the problem. Create a problem and then fix the problem. Order out of chaos. That's what that sounds like to me. And I told him that. I said, man, that don't sound right to me. And then I said, also, from what I can remember, I think President Joe Biden gave a significant number of monies and money to different cities throughout the country and different states and cities throughout the country to help them with their infrastructure and so forth. And I said, I believe the city of Cleveland received a significant amount of that money. I said, so how come he couldn't use that money to finance the Cleveland police? How come he couldn't use that money to fund them? How come he didn't use that money for that? But what does he do? He shuts down the homeless shelters. Now you got homeless people walking around causing all kinds of chaos and insanity at the mall where we live at. Got people stripping nude and so forth. It's just crazy. People afraid to walk around. He's causing the problem, just like Democrats do, just like these liberals do. They're problem makers, not problem solvers. That's what they are. Liberal politicians are problem makers. History shows that. Now, I'm not saying the conservatives don't do it either, but I believe the conservative way is the best way, in my opinion. That's just the way I believe. People don't have to support it. That's okay. I'm entitled to my opinion. I believe it's not the perfect, but it's the best way. Because liberals are screwing up the city, the country, screwing it up, period. You create a problem, then come in and say, I want to fix the problem. I saw that a mile away. So all this crap that he was saying in this interview, he says the same dribble that a lot of these politicians say. Yeah, we do have a problem with these prosecutors. So what do you plan to do about it, sir? What do you plan to do about it? I'm going to say this and I'm going to keep saying it. And I say this to people on my job. A significant problem in these cities and so forth. One of the major reasons why we have so much crap going on, high crime and all this type of stuff, is because of the leadership. It's not the only reason, but it is one of the significant reasons. Is because of the leaderships and their worldview. It's the worldview and policies that they're putting in place that to some degree is causing a chaos that we have in our cities. You get these idiots out and put people in there that want real peace and real justice, then we probably won't have as many problems. You look at it from a biblical perspective, it's the same philosophy, to be quite frank with you, because people in the, when the kings in the book of 1 Kings and 2 Kings and so forth, when the kings were following the laws and rules and regulations of God, they prospered. When they stopped following the rules and regulations and policies of God, they failed. Other nations would come in and take them over. Same principle here. Shady leadership, shady results. Good leadership, good results. It's pretty simplistic. That's what I see going on here. Mayor Bibbs is no different than any of the other Democratic mayors that we have had. And I'm seeing this every single day in the city of Cleveland. The Democrats are the destruction. The present day Democrats are the destruction of our cities and the destruction of our state and the destruction of this country. And that's just what I believe. And nothing's going to change my mind until they start changing their mind. So that's just what I feel. What do you guys think about what I've just talked to you about? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. God bless you all and see you again.